What's up? Joey Bradford here from your favorite band, The Used, and we're gonna check out my rig. Right now we're out on our 25th anniversary tour. We're playing 3 nights in each city. First record night 1, second record night 2, third record night 3. Mostly sold out across the country. It's been amazing so far. We're back in Chicago for our second round of 3 nights, and it's been going amazing. Sweet, yeah, so let's check out my guitars. So most of my guitars I get from Ernie Ball, Music Man. They've been taking care of me for a long time. Incredible stuff. Everything's custom. Let's start here. We'll start with the, we just call this the Gray Boy, and this is my drop A sharp Stingray. All my Stingrays are set up the same. They're basically stock with some fun colorways, and we do different gauges, different tunings for, I think there's 8 different tunings I'm doing right now. And then we send them off to Evertune. They outfit us with the bridges, which is something that I'm fully addicted to now. I come from playing bass, and I've always played really heavy, so the Evertunes have been huge, helping me get to, you know, still be a rock guy when we're on stage, but not flubbing all over the place. So I love those. Shout out Evertune. So yeah, so pretty standard with this one. I play it for a couple songs. Everything I play for that song is bridge pickup. Neck pickup is pretty much for show on this one. But volume's all the way up. You know, I build out a lot of my tone for each of the songs individually through my amps and power amps and the whole rig there. But the guitar is, it's made to turn up and leave it there for the song and rip it. But yeah, that's that one. And then same thing with the gauges. I use the same gauges across all my guitars conveniently. I make it my guitar tech's problem to figure out all of that fun stuff. But we're using, what is it, the skinny top, heavy bottom?
Yeah, 10 to 52s.
10 to 52s, and that's across like 4 different tunings. That works really great. But yeah, that's this guitar. It's one of my favorites. I love playing a low tuning. Drop A sharp, super fun. It's kind of floppy, but everything holds really good. My guitar tech's good at his job. This is number 2. This is my cream, and this is drop B right now we have it in, right?
Yeah,
Is that this one? Yeah. Same thing, use it for a few songs, purely just changing tunings and colorways for the difference here, honestly, which is fine. Yeah, this bridge pickup all the way for this one. And volume's all the way up on these guys. This one is a beast. It's, I don't know why, but it's a little bit heavier. It's the same wood, same everything. We put the Evertunes in these. Same gauge of strings as the other one, skinny top, heavy bottom by Ernie Ball. And I love it. These ones are kind of fun because when we had the Evertunes put on, they initially hit me back and they're like, hey, these bodies aren't big enough for these, you know, setups. Are you sure you want them? I'm like, sure, yeah, let's just stick out a ½ inch. Doesn't bother me at all, but it looks kind of funny. But yeah, that one's great. I love this guitar. I've had this one for probably 5 or 6 years now. We've changed the tuning on it a bunch of times. It's kind of like fills in where I need it. Always kills. Hasn't been destroyed yet. Love it. I also put the these little neck dots on here. My good buddy Ryan Fluff Bruce turned me onto these. He like sells them now with a company. They're super cool, but yeah, they glow, which is huge. You can change them out pretty quick. It's nice. Love it. All right. This one is my favorite Stingray that I have from the guys, and this was the first one that they gave me when I first moved over to Ernie Ball, Music Man. I needed a baritone. We were doing a tour, and I didn't have a guitar for the song we were going to play. The company I was with before, they didn't have a baritone at the time, so I reached out to my dude Tim Dove at Ernie Ball, who I'd already been getting my strings from forever. Said, what do you have? I need something. He's like, we'll get you set up. And then when they showed up to give it to me, they also had this all black Stingray that they just gave to me. They're like, we thought you would like this, check it out, you know, whatever. And I fell in love, and I haven't turned back ever since that day. And this is still one of my main guitars I play for the majority of all 3 of the sets. This is my drop C guitar, the most played in my arsenal. I love that it's kind of starting to patina and like get all jacked up because I'm a sweaty boy. But everything still sounds and works amazing. You know, we've just cleaned up some parts. We haven't replaced much. I love it. And it's the all black. It's just painted, you know. It's same thing with that popping out Evertune back. But we love it. And they all have the Schaller locking tuners too. Those have been great. They hold up really well. Again, we tour the world and beat these up, and they're just like, we pull them out and they're good to go. So on the last couple tours we did, we had some pretty cool production. It kind of looked like a UFC setup or something. We had these big chain link fences, and our drum tech and his lady, they helped decal out a bunch of our production. They helped build a bunch of our production, and they were putting these decals on the drum kits, and had them toss them on a couple guitars, and I've just left them because it's kind of fun. I did the all black and the all white for a few years, so mixing it up a bit, but I kind of love it. It's way cooler than I thought it was going to be. So that was my first guitar that they gave me, and then this was my first like fully custom dream guitar that I got from them. I had seen a guitar many years ago. I want to say I saw Death Cab for Cutie playing, and their whole setup was all white. All their amps, all their guitars, their drums, everything. I was probably 16, super highly influenced at the time, and that was one of those, like, if I can ever get my dream guitar, I want an all white guitar. So I went with them, said, hey, I want a Stingray. I want it all white, fretboard, everything. They're like, cool, we can do it, we can't do the fretboard. I said, no deal. Like, we're doing the fretboard, or we're gonna do a different guitar. So I went back to the engineers and the builders, and they're like, we'll try it. And this was their first version of it, and I've had it for 4 years now, and it's held up amazing. I play this the other half of the set pretty much, the majority of my songs. This one I do get to use the neck pickup from time to time. There's a couple clean parts and some cool songs where we get into some ballads. We keep the neck pickup a little bit low, which helps with kind of this brittle sound that we're going for on a couple songs that I use it for. But the rest is all bridge and just ripping. I use this for a lot of the rock songs, a couple solos that I get to kind of dig into it. And yeah, I love this one to death. I think we're gonna try to do a couple more versions of the all white and keep going. All right, this is my newest guitar. This one they sent me out before this last tour. Love it. It's a Sabre by Music Man again. Kind of something I'm about to dive into. I've been playing Stingrays for so long. Been super interested seeing a lot of my friends start to play these. And they sent me this one, and right out of the box it was like, okay, this is coming on tour. And again, we were days before tour, and I had to call my tech and say, hey, do we have space for this one? And he thankfully said, yes, we do. So we brought it out. I'm using it on a couple songs that we never played previously, and it works great. This one I actually get to play around with the tone. We're using, I think, 3 different positions on the pickups and a couple combinations. There's a couple songs that, you know, they're really brittle, and I call it the danger zone when there's just these like crazy clean riffs. They make me do it all the time, and now we're playing around with pickup selectors. We're playing around with different clean tones. Volume and tone still stay up all the way, but anyway, it's a great ripper. I love it. It works for a lot of things. I think I'm going to probably start leaning in a bit more to playing these in the future too. This one doesn't have an Evertune, so normally I'll have them send guitars straight over to them, and they'll outfit on the East Coast and then ship them back to me. But because I was kind of just wanting to dive into it and test something out, got their standard tremolo on there. And I honestly love it. Like, I go back and forth whenever I play a guitar that doesn't have the Evertune, where I can really feel and sing. But as far as like the live applications with the Evertunes, and we get them in bend mode, and I get them really comfortable, but it's such a different feeling when you can really control the guitar. I'll never deny that that is a thing. But yeah, I love it. It's been holding up great. Thankfully, holding tune really well. We have this in, what is this, drop D?
Drop D.
Yeah, this one's in drop D, so kind of more in the ballpark of, you know, how a guitar is supposed to be set up when they're built. And then the gauge of strings is different on this one?
10 to 48.
10 to 48 gauge strings on this one. It's super comfortable. It's a little bit slinky, but it's holding tuning really well, and it's one of those guitars that kind of makes me feel like I'm better than I am, you know what I mean? When it's just singing for you. Love it. Thanks, Music Man, you guys are the best. There we go. This is my custom shop Gibson Explorer in black and gold. This is one of my dream guitars growing up, and I was recently working with the Gibson Foundation. Got an opportunity to buy it, jumped on it right away. It's been something that I use for pretty much one song. but it's our song Pretty Handsome Awkward, where there's kind of a flying solo section and I jump up on the riser and do this thing. And when I do pull it out of the case, I use it for that song. Again, volume all the way up. We're ripping, but I love it. Gibson really took care of me on this one, and I'll probably keep this one forever. This one will sit next to me with the kids. This last one is super special to me. This is my Fender Jazzmaster. This was my first guitar that Fender gave me when I joined the band, and this to me was like such a huge step up in my guitar journey and my whole story. You know, I'd been playing things that I could afford to get at a pawn shop or that my dad would help me get, you know, and once I jumped into the band, Fender was gracious enough to hook me up with a big boy guitar made in America, and it's been incredible. This is a beast. I've beaten the heck out of this thing all over the world, and it still just shows up and plays. I lock the tremolo on here most of the time. We got the it's just the V-Mod P90s that come with these American standards, and I just love it. I've had it in probably 5 different tunings over the years, and it's been amazing. It definitely has a very specific sound with the pickups, and once I started moving more into the humbuckers and using the Ernie Ball guitars and building my sound around that, its application kind of started to fit in certain spots and not others. But I keep it out with me, and I use it for a couple songs here and there. Love it to death. It's the best. What do we got next? We got my Taylor Grand Pacific acoustic, which I absolutely love. This has been fun. I've written a lot of songs in the studio with this one the last couple years. It's just a super inspiring instrument. It sounds great plugged in, and we do use it live for a couple songs, but this one's like sits next to me in my studio at home always. I fly with this one. This is like my baby. Love it. Sounds amazing. Beautiful guitar. Taylor takes care of me. They're the best company. They give back to kids. I love it. And then my last acoustic, which I've been using quite a bit on this tour, is this pretty little Ibanez something. Who knows? So what had happened was we were having an issue with the pickups on my other guitar. Had to replace a part and needed to play the show, so we ran down to the local music store, and this was the only acoustic electric guitar that they had there. I think we paid $200 for it, plugged it in, and it sounded incredible, and I've been using it for a year. It plays amazing. Just one of those kind of like serendipitous moments where it's not about the price tag or the name or the whatever, where it's just I picked up this great guitar and it's awesome, and now I use it for 3 songs in our set right now, and it's been a beast. It sounds really beautiful, and it's got a built-in tuner on it too, just in case. We love it. This one is DADGAE. Yes. So it's like super unique. Yeah, it's funny. There's kind of like only a few different progressions you can play on it, but they're all beautiful, and they all sound familiar to these old school used songs, so it's perfect. It's fun.
Some more Ernie Balls. We got the aluminum bronze.
Yeah, there we go.
We got some 10 to 50s on here.
10 to 50, aluminum bronze, just as I suspected. Yeah, they're great. Feels amazing. It's not like, it's just one of these guitars where we pulled it out, slapped some strings on it in this funky tuning, and the action is perfect. The intonation was really close from the beginning, which I just love. You can kind of only get that out of an acoustic guitar, where it's, you just pick up a random one that's been sitting in a room of some weird temperature long enough to make it this perfect instrument, and it's hard to recreate, but stoked on this guitar. I love it. All right, let's look at my amp setup, my simulator setup, my pedals, my power amps, how I make live sound, how we get it out to there. So my main brain of my whole system that I am now using is the Line 6 Helix. I use the rack model because I love to have everything in tech world in case something goes wrong. And then I have the ground control at my feet on stage, just in case I want to be in control or change something. It's the best that they do it that way. There's a lot of really great modelers and all of these things out there. I think they're all kind of on similar level. You can make them sound great. They can all sound really bad. But what I love about this is that we have the control from Tech World and on stage. It's redundant. Love it. So that's what I'm using. Then I have my amp sims in here that I'm using for this set. I don't change too much. I try to use the same couple amps across the board. Every once in a while I'll get in there and do something special. But for my dirty amps, I'm using a Placator, which we confirmed that is how you pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced a million different ways, but we're using a Placator, which is just replicating like a high gain amp, something that I can just kind of have some beef, a little bit gnarlier than we would do on an album, but for a live setting, trying to make it really rock facing. And I love this amp. I use it pretty much across the board for rhythm tones, and lead tones will boost off of that. And then for my clean amps, I'm using the Line 6 Clarity, which is essentially like, what would I compare it to? It's kind of a cross between like a Mesa clean and like an orange clean at time, where it's a lot of mids, but it's still kind of snappy, which I love. And then I end up compressing cleans quite a bit anyway, which that's all done in the box too. Every song that we have has kind of a unique setup of effects and tempos and all sorts of different changes that I'm doing using MIDI. So everything's built into our Ableton session. That's doing all my patch changes for me live, all my song changes, pretty much everything. But I do keep this on stage just in case I want to play around, or if something goes down, which kind of doesn't happen because it's a full redundant rig. But it's just nice to have, because I just like to have extra stuff. Yeah, and then we do have something that's kind of unique is I'm using the aux stomp from Universal Audio for my cab simulators. That's something I just love in my studio at home. I love their cab sims, and I use the aux box at home. I've loved it. I kind of have the same exact setup in my home studio that I started using with other artists. So brought this over, which is just through the send and return of the Helix, and then we bypass these to then go out into my power amps, which are the Seymour Duncan, the Power Stage 200s, and I have 2 of those for my 2 cabs on stage. So we go out of the amps, we bypass the cab sims to go into the power amps, which feed my Bad Cat 412 cabs over there, which those have V30s in them. We love them. And those get mic'd up. There's a stereo out of the Helix. What else? I know there's 5 lines. I think we have DI, stereo out of the Helix, then the 2 mic cabs.
2 mic cabs, and he's taking a DI line out of your Seymour Duncan.
So we have a DI line out of the cab sims. We have stereo DI out of the Helix, and then we also have 2 cabs which are mic'd up, all for one dude playing guitar, all blended by our wizard front of house guy, and made to sound beautiful and lovely in the house. Because playing one guitar in a band that has so much going on, it gives me a lot more kind of confidence, knowing that there's just so much just color and kind of like beef behind my tone. I can kind of play up there and know nothing's going to sound thin. And that's really just trusting my front of house guy and knowing that we have a cool setup too. But that is, honestly, that's the majority of my rig. The only other special thing that I do is I keep a Digitech whammy and drop on my board, which I use quite a bit. I'll primarily use it for 2 octave up if I'm going to have some fun with the whammy, or use it for a full octave down if we have a heavy part that I want to add some beef to. Kind of unbeatable with the octave sounds, this particular pedal. And then there is one song, even though I have 1,800 guitars, there's one song that I do have to use the pitch up function for on the whammy to get me even higher, which is drop E flat, or drop D sharp, we'll call it. But I love it, and it works, and it seems like a lot, but it's really not. I used to have 3 amps, analog switchers, this massive pedal board, things that I loved and I'm like prideful that I got to use, but the amount of times things would go wrong at big shows, it was just like, all right, moving into this world, We've spent the last 4 or 5 years dialing it in, and I'm super stoked how everything sounds. And yeah, that's my rig. Thanks for checking out my rig, guys. Go to theused.net to check out our tour dates. We'll see you out there.